Inflation is quietly stealing your future. Read this before it's too late. If you're living on a pension or low income, inflation isn't just rising prices, it's a slow drain on your freedom. Every grocery trip feels heavier, every bill feels bigger, and no matter how hard you try, it feels like you're falling behind. The truth, you're not doing anything wrong. The system is just getting more expensive. But here's the powerful part. Once you understand how inflation works against you, you can start fighting back, even on limited income. In this breakdown, you'll learn exactly how inflation impacts your money, your mindset, and your future, and most importantly, what you can do about it starting today. If you're ready to take back control, hit like, subscribe, and ring the bell, because this could be the shift that changes everything. What inflation really is and why it hurts you more. Inflation means the cost of goods and services increases over time. That includes everything from groceries and rent to transportation and utilities. While inflation affects everyone, it hits people on low income or pensions much harder. Why? Because most of your money already goes toward essentials. When prices rise, there's no extra cushion to absorb the increase. For example, if groceries go up by $50 a month, someone with a higher income might barely notice. But on a fixed income, that $50 has to come from somewhere, often food quality, savings, or other essentials. Inflation doesn't just raise prices, it lowers your standard of living if your income doesn't keep up. This creates a dangerous cycle where your purchasing power shrinks over time. You may be receiving the same amount of money each month, but it buys less and less. Understanding this is the first step to regaining control. Once you see inflation clearly, you can begin to adjust your strategy instead of feeling stuck. Fixed income versus rising costs, the core conflict. The biggest challenge with pensions or low income is that your earnings are often fixed. Unlike a traditional job where you might get raises or work more hours, your income has a ceiling. Meanwhile, inflation has no ceiling. It keeps climbing. This creates a constant gap between what you earn and what you need. Each year, expenses rise while your income stays relatively the same. Even if your pension increases slightly, it rarely keeps pace with real-world cost increases. This mismatch is what causes financial stress. It's not just about budgeting better, it's about a system where your money loses value over time. Many people blame themselves for not saving enough, but the reality is that inflation is working against them every day. Recognizing this conflict shifts your mindset. Instead of thinking, I'm bad with money, you start thinking, I need a strategy that works in an inflation-driven world. That mental shift is powerful and necessary for long-term survival and growth. The hidden cost of everyday increases? Inflation doesn't always show up as dramatic price jumps. Often it's small increases that slowly add up. A few dollars more for groceries, a slight rise in utility bills, or higher transportation costs may not seem like much individually, but together they create a significant financial burden. For someone on a tight budget, even an extra $10, $20 per category can add up to $100 or more per month. Over a year, that's over $1,000 lost. That's money that could have gone towards savings, debt reduction, or improving your quality of life. These small increases are dangerous because they're easy to ignore at first, but over time, they quietly erode your financial stability. You might not notice the change immediately, but eventually you feel the pressure when there's less money left at the end of the month. The key is awareness. Tracking your spending and noticing these small changes helps you stay ahead. Once you identify where inflation is hitting you hardest, you can start making adjustments before it becomes overwhelming. Why saving feels impossible during inflation. When inflation rises, saving money becomes one of the hardest things to do, especially on a low income or pension. That's because your priority shifts to survival. You're focused on paying bills, buying food, and covering essentials. Saving feels like a luxury you can't afford. But here's the deeper issue. Inflation doesn't just make saving harder, it makes your savings worth less over time. If you manage to save money, but inflation continues to rise, the purchasing power of that money decreases. This creates frustration. You might feel like no matter what you do, you can't get ahead, and over time, that can lead to giving up on saving altogether. The solution isn't to save large amounts, it's to save consistently, even if it's small. Building the habit of saving, even $5 or $10 at a time, creates a sense of control and progress. It also prepares you for opportunities and emergencies. Saving during inflation isn't about perfection, it's about persistence. Even small efforts can build a foundation for future stability. The mental and emotional impact of inflation. Inflation doesn't just affect your finances, it affects your mindset. Constantly worrying about money can lead to stress, anxiety, and even burnout. When every dollar matters, decision making becomes exhausting. You may find yourself overthinking every purchase, feeling guilty about spending, or worrying about the future. This mental pressure can make it harder to stay disciplined and focused. Over time, this can lead to a survival mindset where you're only thinking about getting through the next week or month. Long term planning becomes difficult because immediate needs take priority. Understanding this emotional impact is important. It's not just about numbers, it's about how money stress affects your daily life. Acknowledging this helps you be more compassionate with yourself. Creating small wins, like sticking to a budget or saving a small amount, can improve your mindset. These wins build confidence and reduce stress. Financial stability isn't just about money, it's about peace of mind. Adapting your budget to an inflation environment. To survive inflation on a low income, your budget needs to evolve. A traditional budget may not work anymore because prices are constantly changing. Instead, you need a flexible, adaptive approach. Start by identifying your non-negotiables: housing, food, utilities, and healthcare. These are your priorities. Then, look at where you can adjust: subscriptions, entertainment, or optional expenses. Regularly review your budget, monthly or even weekly. This helps you stay aligned with rising costs and make adjustments quickly. Waiting too long can lead to overspending without realizing it. Another key strategy is creating a buffer category. Even a small amount set aside for unexpected increases can prevent stress later. Adapting your budget isn't about restriction, it's about control. When you actively manage your money, you reduce the impact of inflation and increase your sense of stability. The goal isn't perfection, it's awareness and consistency. A flexible budget helps you stay in control, even when prices are unpredictable. Small income boosts that fight inflation. One of the most effective ways to combat inflation is by increasing your income, even slightly. While this may seem difficult on a pension or low income, small income streams can make a big difference. Even an extra $50, $200 per month can offset rising costs. This could come from simple activities like selling items online, creating digital content, freelancing, or participating in small side hustles. The goal isn't to create a full-time business, it's to create breathing room. That extra income can cover increased grocery costs, utilities, or savings contributions. Technology has made this more accessible than ever. Platforms allow you to monetize skills, knowledge, or even your daily life. The key is to start small and stay consistent. Adding income shifts your financial position from reactive to proactive. Instead of constantly cutting expenses, you're creating new opportunities. In an inflation-driven world, even small income increases can have a powerful impact. It's not about doing everything, it's about doing something. Building a long-term inflation survival strategy. Inflation isn't going away, it's a long-term reality. That means your strategy needs to be long-term as well. Short-term fixes help, but lasting stability comes from consistent habits and smart planning. Start with the basics: budgeting, saving, and tracking expenses. Then, build on that foundation with small income streams and smart financial decisions. If possible, explore options that help your money grow, such as low-cost investing. Even small contributions over time can help offset inflation's impact. Another key factor is education. The more you understand about money, the better decisions you can make. Knowledge gives you an advantage. Finally, focus on resilience. Financial stability isn't about perfection, it's about adapting, learning, and staying consistent even when things are difficult. Inflation may be working against you, but with the right strategy, you can work against it too. Small actions, repeated over time, create powerful results. Your situation doesn't define your future, your strategy does.